Do you feel deeply passionate about a project that you want to start, but you struggle to get it going and get it off the ground? Stay tuned for this episode of KEAL, and with Valentina, you'll listen to Skye Campbell talk about how you can start your passion project today with the right heart and mindset. So stay tuned. Skye, welcome back to the channel, and we welcome you back for another exciting conversation. How are you doing today?
I'm well. Thank you for having me. Glad to be back.
It's so exciting to have you back on, Skye, and you just gave a powerful interview last time. I think you have a really interesting insight and expertise when it comes to trying to align your heart and your mind towards your goals and your passions. And I think a lot of people, they're really excited to want to try something new, something exciting, something different in their life, because something invigorated inside their mind and their heart, where I want to try this goal or this passion project, so to speak, that I've maybe put off forever, and I want to get into something new and exciting for my life, but they don't know how to organize their time. They don't know how to really put in the effort to pursue it, the practical steps to put in place. So let's talk about the starting phase. Like, what would you recommend to people to start off with to really head in the right direction?
So the framework I work with for any goal setting, whether I'm doing it for myself or a client, is that goals need to be the acronym SMART. They need to be specific, they need to be measurable, they need to be achievable, they need to be realistic, and they need to be time sensitive or have a timeline. So for a specific goal, I'll just take weight loss because I know that's a big one for a lot of people, especially with January 1st. Weight loss isn't it's not a great goal because it's not specific enough. If you said, I want to lose 20 pounds, that's very specific. That's a specific number. It's measurable. How much weight do you want to lose per month? Is that 2 pounds a month? Is it going to be 5? What's a comfortable, and then also a realistic number? Like, what can you actually do? That where you don't feel hungry, where you're, not over exercising, what lifestyle changes can you make to make that possible? Achievable. I think achievable and realistic really go hand in hand, because if something's not realistic, it's not going to be achievable. And you want to set yourself up for success. You're not going to be a new person overnight. So what are little tweaks and little changes you can make along the way to help yourself make a realistic and achievable goal? Is that going to be that you're going to eat more green vegetables? Are you going to hire a personal trainer? Those are just some examples that I've heard, but I mean, you are always the expert on yourself, and you'll know what's going to work best for you. And then the final piece is the timeline. So timeline isn't just about scheduling. It's really, how long do you want this goal to last, or how long do you want it to take before you achieve it? Does it need to be 6 months? Does it need to be a year? Does it need to be 3 months? I always caution people, if they're in the middle of a big grief cycle, or if they've had any significant life transitions, they started a new job, give yourself extra time, because you need to give yourself some grace and be realistic with yourself. It's hard to heal, and it's hard to make big changes if you're grieving the loss of something big, whether that was a former career, whether that was an actual loss of a pet or a person. So really, it's just being realistic with yourself and the time that it takes to achieve it.
Let's say, I think a lot of how you try to do something requires a lot of self-discipline too, right? Like time management, organization, all those things. Let's say someone wants to get on that path like you're recommending through the way in which you help them, but they really have a hard time, because there's some people out there that like have great ideas, but starting it and getting going and staying with it is quite difficult. How do you recommend certain accountability partners, for example, for people who just are bad on the execution part of things? Or how do you help them ensure that they stay on track with those type of goals you're talking about?
Having an accountability partner can be one way of having big success and just being accountable, because you know that other person is going to ask you in a week or later in the month, like how you're going on your goals. So accountability partners are great. I also think getting a mentor. I know life and business coaches are also very popular, and that's a booming field. So getting a mentor or a coach to help you can be a real asset. Sometimes it's helpful to have somebody who's been on the path and they're a little farther down the line than you are, and they can share their insights, their words of wisdom. They can give very specific feedback and encouragement to you, and maybe even like show you the ropes so that you don't have the same stumbling points they've had. That I think is a big asset that can go underrated. Also, be realistic with yourself. Is it possible to do something every week and every day, or do we need to like just slow down the approach? Because oftentimes people start very excited when something's new, and after a little bit of time, that honeymoon phase wears off, and then it becomes, this just feels like a grind. This feels like I'm not where I want to be. And then there becomes that self-defeating piece of like, when is this going to come to fruition for me? When, I think it's also important to take a step back and look at how far you've come on your goals, because oftentimes we're so quick to go for the end goal, the end achievement, that we don't always take a moment to pause and look at the progress that we've made and look at how far we have come.
I want to ask you as well, Skye, how important are feelings as far as sticking with a greater goal that you may have, right? What I mean by that is many times, many people get quite motivated, quite pumped up, and then in the middle, you're like, those initial feelings start to wane out, right? When you really are set on a certain goal, you almost got to take out the emotion of what it was initially associated with, because there will be days you got to grind. There will be days you're going to hate the process, but there will be good days, of course. There's going to be the ebbs and flows. So, I mean, do you recommend that people just look at it on a purely emotional level with these things, or like also just kind of a cold sort of mind saying, okay, this is the trajectory of how long it will really take. These are the processes. What is your recommendation for people in that?
That's a really valuable question, and often it can be a bit of a slippery slope. There are times where, like, initially we do have that excitement, that initial rush of like, yeah, I'm pumped for this, I'm ready for it. And then it becomes like, then we kind of acclimate to it and we're in the swing of things, and maybe some of this work is like uncomfortable, or it's forcing us to grow and stretch in a way that we haven't ever grown before. So it can be intimidating at times. It can feel at times overwhelming. What I like to ask people in the heat of the moment, think of the acronym HALT. Are you hungry, angry, lonely, or tired? Because we just know you're not going to make executive decisions or great decisions when you're too tired, when you're hungry. If you're angry, that's going to cloud our judgment. So like, go for a walk, drink some cool water, cool yourself off so that you can make a clear decision. And then same with hunger, like you can't heal if you're hungry. And again, for lonely, entrepreneurship can be a very lonely journey. And that's why I really do encourage people to, do masterminds, or maybe not even do masterminds, but join a mastermind, have an accountability buddy, a mentor or a coach. That's a person who can take some of the loneliness away from the journey of self-growth and entrepreneurship or business development.
And are there any like certain aspects of time management that you give to your clients in which to balance all this? And the reason I ask is this: let's say you're someone with a full-time job, you got a family, you got kids, you got a lot of certain obligations overall, that really eat through your whole day, and you want to do this other thing to really create growth in this other aspect of your life that really you think fulfills you or will fulfill you. So what sort of insight do you have for people in that aspect to consider their time management, and also consider best ways to have good and uplifting energy?
So from the practicality point of time management, organization, think about all the things you do in not just the day, but also the week. And then oftentimes people come in very, very excited with their goal, and that's awesome because it is their passion, and they want to see success or have this new passion more in their life, which makes perfect sense. And that's a great thing. That's a beautiful thing. I also really encourage people to, when they're excited, they want to do more. And it's like, just I encourage them to take a few steps back. It doesn't have to, the phrase Rome wasn't built in a day. It doesn't all have to get done right now. It's, if you're a family person with children, maybe it's best to do your work when kids are down, have gone down for a nap, or if they've gone to bed for the evening. Maybe you wake up early because you have more energy in the morning before the kids wake up. That's when you would wake up to do some of your work, and just do a little bit every single day. Or when you have like extra time, maybe it's that you dedicate a couple hours, 1 to 2 days out of the week to work on your goal. So I think it's really about knowing what's realistic for you and your life and your lifestyle, while also making some progress and having some balance. The other things I would recommend as far as like lifestyle changes, I think mindfulness is really underrated and undervalued in our society. So really just taking a few moments to take a seat, take a few deep breaths in, really centering yourself, just kind of clear whatever happened in the day, let that go, leave it at the door, send it back to wherever it came from with love, and then, start into your whatever tasks or steps you want to take for your goal.
That's excellent. And for you, Skye Campbell, what has been like the impetus of why you wanted to endeavor and wanting to help people and create like a work and a way of life of really trying to help other people achieve their goals and dreams? What inspired you in that aspect to want to do that?
Yeah, so I really didn't have a lot of support in my youth and on my goals. It wasn't that people weren't supportive, it's that they didn't know how to help me, and that was okay. I mean, I understand where they were coming from, but I also felt like it was a very lonely journey. And I thought, man, I just don't want people to feel the pain and the loneliness that I've been experiencing. So that was one step of why. And I was so passionate, and I am still passionate for personal development, for spirituality. So that's really where my life is shifting, and that's where my career is shifting. But that's also where I'm like, we can do hard things together. You don't have to go it alone.
Well, that's the thing, is like, I guess there's some people who understand and realize that I can do and I will do everything on my own and forget about you, get out of my way. But then other people, most people, I think, realize that, look, life is a grind in many ways, but it can be easier if you also allow it to be easier and you're willing to be open and accept many ways of development. Because the thing is, like, any sort of growth and project usually requires many other people and other aspects of insight that you would never realize, right? Like, it's like, what is, I constantly get feedback, like, from my wife and from friends and other people about what's going on, and all those things really become the journey of the construct of what you're trying to do with your life. I think that's why we're here, is like, we're all part of this interweaving sort of aspects of the journey of life, no matter what happens. So, like the tapestry of everything life's about. So and Skye, do you feel that almost virtually anyone, no matter their background, can really pursue a goal or a project or a ambition that they have in their life? Like, does everyone have that capacity to do it, in your opinion? Because some people may say, no, they're better at, being part of a team and just going and pumping out like certain tasks and whatever. But do you personally think that everyone has the capacity of developing and creating their own project?
Absolutely, because even if it's not a project, we always have personal goals for ourselves. So I think that is inherent for everybody. I think this talent and skills is within everybody. I think one of the biggest lies we tell ourselves is, I don't do New Year's resolutions. Okay, do you set goals? Do you set intentions? Because I hate to break it to you, but those are also those are goals. I mean, resolutions are just goals that are ways we want to change or in shifts we want to see happen in our lives. So I think it's available for everybody. It's just what works best for you is that's where the magic happens, and that's going to be an individualized process for every single person. Some people will do better one-on-one. Some people work better in a group mentality, or not mentality, but like some people work better in a group setting. Yeah, exactly. So it's just a matter of like, does everybody have the inherent ability? For sure. It's just what's the best approach that's going to work for you, and that's going to be on a person by person basis.
Exactly. And everyone's unique in every way. I mean, there's not one single same person on this earth, so absolutely. Every situation is going to be totally unique and totally distinct to the actual process of everything we do. And what if someone wants to start their project, their goal that they feel that's in their heart, but they are just so in the rut of life, they are so stuck, they're so paralyzed, maybe with something that's making them feel down, sad, depressed, whatever it may be. They feel crippled, but they long for something at the same time. There's that dual energy going on. Like, I'm longing and I want, but I feel just paralyzed for, a contractual energy, so to speak. Like, to get out of that situation or transition into, let's say, a more positive flow of energy into a greater environment for them to really get into the better energy they want to be in to pursue what's in their heart, what would you recommend as some really good first steps and getting into that position they want to be in their life?
Yeah, so I think first is just to sit down and do some stream of conscious journaling. Just get a journal, and I feel paralyzed, or I feel fear, or I feel sad because, and just see what comes up. Is it big life stuff? Is it fear of the future? Is it fear of success? Just kind of see what's coming up for you, because I think there's a lot of validity to, what's coming up. Change can be very scary. We're wired to want to survive, and change can often feel threatening, even if it's a positive change. So see what's under that first of all, so that you kind of know what's coming up for you. And then the second piece to that is spend some time daydreaming. What's your ideal day look like? What's your ideal day look like? What are you doing? Where are you living? Who are you with? Are you outside in a country in the cabins, or a cabin in the country, or are you in a bustling city? Really paint the picture. Where are you? Who are you with? What's it look like? What's it feel like? What's it smell like? What's it sound like? Are there animals with you? So really paint the picture on what's your perfect day look like? What are you doing? What food are you eating? Are you going to an office? Are you staying home to do tasks, to do your work if you work? So it's just a matter of daydreaming and really helping yourself get very, very clear on what does that ideal day look like, and that can sometimes give enough clarity to know what next steps to take.
It sounds like a lot of what you're saying has to do with recognition, right? Probably recognizing when you said about journaling, just letting the stream of all that energy come out and see it on the physical paper, see what is going through your transom of your mind and it's in your heart, and those energies that are really weighing on you, and just look at it, put it on paper, recognize it, and realize, oh my goodness, this is how I am right now. Right? Sometimes the recognition of things can release that energy off of you. I've found personally as well. Is okay, I am feeling bad for this reason because of this thing or this person or whatever. And then you verbally say it, that recognition, then something comes off your chest, it feels like, right?
Absolutely.
So that can help you then maybe move in the right direction. And then the second part of what you're saying regarding environment, I think that's huge, and especially as you relate it to nature, because I think being in a more natural environment just does something to our inner sense of self, right? Like you feel open, you feel alive, you feel more relaxed, you feel a certain type of peace, but you have to get in, like you're saying, that right environment of a natural setting to really, it actually makes you tired, because then if you're in like a big city and you're in the hustle and bustle and the everyday, you're kind of wired on adrenaline. But then the moment you get in nature, you feel that peace, and you're like, I need to take a nap for 18 hours, right? So it's really important what we're saying, because the recognition and the right environment can probably then give you a great sense of the clarity and the path forward,
For sure. Yeah. There's something about it. I almost feel connected when I'm in nature, and it's like there's that connection that I don't get from living in the city.
Oh, 100%. It reconnects you, it just realigns you in a certain way, and it just can really give you the headspace and the heart space to really make the right decisions going forward. And lastly, Skye, the last big thing I want to leave our viewers and listeners with is, what would be today, like this day, in 2021, we're filming this episode, what would be your like last words of encouragement to our audience to let them know, hey, don't have to worry about where you are this day, this moment, and you can get on the right path in your life? That kind of message, what would you say to them?
Yeah. I think it's important to take a moment to reflect and see how far you've come. Like, we've been through pandemic for the last year and a half. Like, you're doing good work, and please do give yourself credit for the hard work you are doing. You're still making progress, even if it's not at the rate of speed you want it to be at. Like, and it might feel kind of hokey, but think of like, who won the race, the turtle or the hare? Like, even if it's a slow pace, you're still making progress, you're still making great strides. So do give yourself credit and for the hard work you're doing. And I just want to acknowledge people and celebrate people. I really wish people would celebrate themselves, but let me rephrase that, because I don't like that.
That's fine. Go ahead.
I would really encourage, thank you. I would really encourage you to celebrate yourself for the hard work that you are doing, because it's scary sometimes to put ourselves out there and to chase a dream and to go after it and put ourselves out there like that. And you're still making progress, and you're still making steps, and you're still showing up, and you're still doing the work. And that needs to be acknowledged and celebrated.
Perfect. I mean, and that's a great point, because it's easy to have the big end goal in mind at all times, like the house, the job, the vacation, the whatever it is. It's all the end goal's easy to come up with, but you gotta, like, if we change our frame of reference in our way of perceiving things with like the small things that make up that end goal, we're gonna and celebrate it, as you say, we're gonna be a million times happier for sure, because it's getting better 1% each and every day. I feel that can really make for amazing outcomes in the long run. So, Skye, thank you so much again for being on now, KEAL. It's an honor. Our viewers have really, really enjoyed the last episode with you, and I'm sure we'll enjoy this one. And I thank you so incredibly much. And where can our audience find out more about you, your work, if they can connect with you even virtually and work with you one-on-one about their project, their goals? Where can they find you?
Yeah, so thank you for having me back. I'm always honored and grateful to be reconnect with you. So Instagram's probably the easiest way to find me. It's I am Skye, SKYE, Lights, LIGHTS. I am building a website. It's just going a little slower than I would have liked, but that's okay. We talked about why. We talked about that. So, I practice what I preach, I promise.
Exactly.
So eventually I'll have a website up at Instagram, and just drop me a DM. That would be the easiest way to connect.
Excellent. We're going to include all of Skye's information in the show notes and the comments and the pins. Link her appropriately so you can find her, very easily, and really encourage anyone out there who has a pounding sort of desire in their heart to want to get on a path in which they want to achieve their goals, their dreams for their project, whatever it may be, connect with Skye. She has an excellent just personality and professionalism about her, and just, you know, warmth. And I would really encourage anyone to reach out to her and start today with what you want to do in your life. So thank you again, Skye. It's been a pleasure. And thank you for everyone watching, listening, and comment below. This has been a great episode, insightful episode for you. What have you learned from Skye? And let us know in the comments below what project you're trying to start, if you have something on your heart that you want to achieve in your life and what that is, and share with this community would be great. And we'll see you all in the next episode. Take care, everyone.